Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss a new topic that is death and its medical legal aspects. Okay. Firstly, we have to know what is thanatology. So what is thanatology? Thanatology it is a scientific study of death in all its aspects. So thanatology means it is a study of death. Okay. Now we'll read about the types of death. So there are two types of death: somatic death and cellular death, which is also known as molecular death. So what is somatic death? Somatic death, it is a systemic death or clinical death. What the definition of somatic death is: a complete and irreversible cessation of function of heart, lungs, and brain. So this is known as Bichat's tripod of life. It's very important. So yeah, let's see this diagram. So this is life which runs behind three organs, that is brain, heart, and the lungs. So when the cessation of these three organs, it is called somatic death, where it is complete and irreversible. Yeah. Next, what is cellular death? It's a death of individual cells. So now from this we got. Now we'll discuss the main points. Like what are the types of death? There are two types of deaths. One is somatic death and cellular death. And this cellular death is also known as molecular death, and somatic death, also known as systemic death or clinical death. It's a complete and irreversible, we can't reverse it, irreversible cessation of functions of heart, lungs, and brain, which is known as Bichat's tripod of life. It's very important. You may get it as a 3 marker or 5 marker. So yeah. Okay. Now we'll discuss brain death. Brain death is a complete and irreversible loss of brain function, and brain death is classified into three types: cortical death, brainstem death, and whole brain death. So here is a diagram. Like see, cortical death, brainstem death, and whole brain death. The brainstem, and here we can see the cortex or cortex and the whole brain death. So brain death is complete and irreversible loss of brain functions, and it's three types: cortical death, brainstem death, and whole brain death. Okay. Okay, I think it's visible. Yeah. Okay. Now we are going to discuss these three types of brain death, that is cortical death, brainstem death, and whole brain death. Coming to cortical death. So cortical death is a cortex of brain is not functioning. That's what it is. The definition itself, name itself. See, cortex of the brain is not functioning. It may be because of injury, disease, or poisoning, but the brainstem is intact. So therefore, cardiovascular and respiratory systems continue to function. See, they classified brain into two types, like cortex and brainstem, right? So in cortical death, this cortex is not functioning because of some disease, injury, or poisoning, but brainstem is intact. So because of this intact brainstem, the respiratory and cardiovascular systems are functioning. So we can't call that person as dead. So in a person whose respiratory system and cardiovascular system are functioning very well, then we can't call them, or we can't declare them as dead. So see, here the person cannot be declared as dead because his cardiovascular system and respiratory system are functioning. And when the cortex is not functioning, victims can no longer think, remember, reflect, perceive, understand language, or speak. They are no longer aware, have no consciousness. This is known as a vegetative state, also called coma. So yeah, these are the things they can't perceive, reflect, remember. They can't speak. So this is known as a vegetative state, right? Next, coming to brainstem death. This mean like no need to explain. Here the cortex is dead. Here brainstem is dead. So brainstem is not functioning because of injury or some disease or poisoning. Therefore, cardiovascular and respiratory system stops. Here the cardiovascular and respiratory systems continue to function in cortical death. Here they are stopped. Here the person is declared dead. This concept of brainstem death is accepted as a ground for pronouncing death for legal purposes in India. So yeah. So in people whose brainstem is dead, so we call them as, we declare it as the person as dead. So organs can be used for transplantation, right? Now, whole brain death means like cortical death and brainstem death. Cortical death plus brainstem death. Both cortex and brainstem are not functioning. So the person is declared dead. Organs can be used for transplantation. That's what. And no need to like read all this. It's an excessive, like it's more information, unnecessary information. So yeah, I hope you guys understood and thank you for listening. Bye.